How many times have you been approached by someone, a multi-level marketing person, who has the most amazing pill, potion, drink that's going to make you feel like you're 20 years old and help you live forever? I'm Dr. Judith Boice, and welcome to another edition of Health Essentials. I've lost count at this point of how many people have come up to me with these different products. And I just had another one yesterday, so I want to share with you. And I don't mean to pick on this particular product, but I just give this particular product as an example of these products. I want to share with you about the dangers of caffeine, excessive caffeine in our bodies and our lives. Second, we'll be looking at healthy ways of being able to rebuild and to sustain our energy levels in the body. And third, I'll be inviting you, welcoming you to join me for the Healing Body and Soul Summit, September 14 through 16. So first, let's talk about caffeine. So in this particular product, I'm going to name for you the sources of caffeine in the product. Rich dark roast coffee, espresso coffee, organic cocoa, green tea, green coffee extract, caffeine anhydrous. And let me say a word about that. Caffeine anhydrous is even more concentrated than straight caffeine. An means without, hydrous, without water. So caffeine anhydrous is a super concentrate of caffeine. 1 teaspoon of caffeine anhydrous is equivalent to drinking 28 cups of strong coffee. It's very potent. And then finally, caffeine. So there's 7 sources: dark rich roast coffee, espresso coffee, organic cocoa, green tea, green coffee extract, caffeine anhydrous, and caffeine. So this person said, they did some research and said, well, it only has 140 milligrams of caffeine. I said, only 140 milligrams of caffeine? And some of that 140 milligrams is caffeine anhydrous, which is much, much stronger than regular caffeine. So the effect is probably far greater than 140 milligrams of caffeine because of the caffeine anhydrous. So let's look then at other caffeine drinks that are on the market, other sources of caffeine. And by the way, caffeine is the only drug, the only registered drug that is found naturally occurring in the foods that we ingest and also is added to a wide variety of foods that we ingest. So from the Center for Science and the Public Interest, that was my source. These are the levels of caffeine in milligrams for different kinds of drinks. So for Folgers ground coffee, the house blend, a 12-ounce cup has 60 to 80 milligrams of caffeine. So the 140 milligrams, which is probably really more because of the caffeine anhydrous, but for the 140 milligrams and elevate, that's 2 to 3 cups of Folgers coffee. This person told me, oh, it's less than a cup of coffee. That's not true. Starbucks espresso has 150 milligrams of caffeine. Starbucks coffee, blonde roast, 20 ounce, woohoo, this is the winner of all of the drinks, 475 milligrams of caffeine. Soft drinks, I always used to think Mountain Dew had the highest level of caffeine. Mountain Dew has 54 milligrams of caffeine. Mountain Zevia, which is a stevia sweetened imitation of Mountain Dew, has 55 milligrams of caffeine. And hold your chairs, Coca-Cola, 20 ounce, has 56 to 57 milligrams of caffeine. And the winner now, the highest level of caffeine of any drink, which I was really surprised by, is Pepsi Zero Sugar with a whopping 115 milligrams of caffeine. That's over twice the amount in Mountain Dew. As far as energy drinks, Red Bull is 80 milligrams of caffeine. Of course, it has sugar and some other things in there too, but 80 milligrams of caffeine. 5 Hour Energy is 200 milligrams of caffeine. And Bang Energy, the current favorite, the highest level of caffeine for any energy drink, is 357 milligrams of caffeine. So what happens when we're taking in these phenomenal levels of caffeine in our body? The adrenal glands are workhorses in the body. And when we drink caffeine, the adrenal glands are goosed to put out more energy than they really have. I think of the adrenal glands as our bank account for energy in the body. So when we drink caffeine, then the adrenal glands are pushed to take a deposit out of the savings account. You take some of your energy out of savings from the adrenal glands. And initially you feel great. You've still got some credit there. You've still got some money in the bank account. You take some out, and you feel wonderful. It's a big rush. You feel great. But eventually, after taking out enough of these deposits from the savings account, eventually There are no savings left. And from that point forward, you start operating on credit. And you go deeper and deeper and deeper, overdrawn into your credit. And eventually you even run out of credit. And at that point, the adrenal glands are smoking. There's nothing left of them. So the good news is the adrenal glands are some of the most forgiving of the glands in the body. But to take the caffeine, the simplest, most direct way I can describe taking these high levels of caffeine, it's like pouring rocket fuel into a jet engine and attaching it to a cardboard airplane. The cardboard airplane was never meant to go at these speeds. The same is true with our human body. We were never meant to be pushed to the extent that we can push ourselves now with the caffeine. So eventually we push ourselves into adrenal fatigue. We have a whole range of other health issues from overusing caffeine, not to mention tachycardia, fast heart rate, hypertension, insomnia. There are a whole range of different things that start to happen. And when you've gotten to that point of operating deeply into your credit account, often you drink the caffeine and it doesn't seem to be doing anything. My father, I grew up with a father who drank 12 to 14 cups of strong coffee a day. He'd say, I can drink this anytime. Morning, evening, doesn't bother my sleep. Yeah, he'd already shot his savings account and had long since shot his credit as well, even though he was up and moving through the day. And he'd say, I'm not addicted. But if he went 2 to 3 hours without his caffeine, he started to have a headache. So he was definitely addicted. So what is a sustainable base? What kind of fuel can we put into this body? What kind of support can we offer this body so that we have grounded, sustainable levels of energy, endless, boundless levels of energy? The first is to have healthy adrenal glands. And I'm just going to quickly go through a 5-step protocol that I work with that I call an additive approach to adrenal health. You can't just do step 1 and be excused from the others. But it's deep relaxation, stabilizing blood sugar, appropriate movement. If you over-exercise, you can actually deplete the adrenals more. Appropriate nutrients and botanicals like the adaptogen herbs. And then finally, last step is adrenal hormones for really severe adrenal fatigue. Some people only need the first 1 or 2 steps, some need all 5, but you can't go to step 5 and be excused from steps 1 through 4. So healthy adrenal glands, healthy endocrine system, that also includes the thyroid, the pituitary gland, our ovaries and testes, all of the different aspects of the immune system, of the hormonal system. Having an individualized diet that's appropriate for your particular body, individualized exercise recommendations. Again, if someone has severe adrenal fatigue, really aggressive exercise is not appropriate at that point. Emotional release and stress reduction is really critical. Often we have background anxiety running, not surprising in the world that we're living right now. But if we have that constant feeling like the bear is chasing us, that is another way that we profoundly deplete energy levels in the body. We can repattern our mind and the habitual patterns in our mind, which can be profoundly restorative. Having a connection with the divine, however you understand that greater source that informs all of life, and having a community in which we live in right relationship, that we're in right relationship with ourselves, our family, our community, with the whole world. So these are all pillars, foundations, solid foundations to build energy from. Yeah, you can put the rocket fuel and the jet engine. You will get the cardboard airplane to go for a short distance before it implodes, but it's not going to go very far, and it's going to ultimately damage the vehicle. So please do join me if you're interested in exploring more of these foundations of health. I'm going to be hosting 9 incredibly inspiring presenters. They are all stars, rock stars, in the world of understanding the connection between our inner world and our physical health, the Earth's health and our individual health, and how to restore vitality on a profound level. Those include Dr. Bruce Lipton, the author of Biology of Belief, Dr. Peter Stapleton, the foremost international researcher on emotional freedom techniques, Dr. Veronica Anderson, medical intuitive and eye surgeon, and a host of other really inspiring practitioners, presenters. Also, I want to mention Jim Schenk, who founded the Enright Ridge Eco Village, one of the first living examples of urban eco-village, a sustainable village. So please do join me September 14 through 16. You can click on the link below to join the summit. I look forward to seeing you. It's going to be a really extraordinary experience. Thank you so much for joining me.